Spring showers bring summer seasonal flowers, or something like that. I'm Tamanon, and each anime season there are so many good shows that get overlooked and forgotten. In an effort to not forget myself, I'll be reflecting on Spring 25's overlooked shows. An original series by Cygames, Apocalypse Hotel starts strong, contrasting the end of humanity desperately trying to escape from a disease-ravaged Earth versus the calm of a robot-run hotel, Gingaru, located in the heart of Ginza, Japan. Years, decades, millennia go by during which our main character, Yashiro, yearns for guests to come back to Earth, waiting for the day the human hotel owner returns and sees just how well they've kept the hotel running all this decades and years of time. At its core, it's a somber tale of lost purpose, the eventual decay of everything despite doing your best. The disjointed and haunting OP highlights this in sound and visuals, with Yachio performing a group dance, but performing it alone, as those who are meant to take part of it with her lie broken and scattered by the entropy of time. Despite the overwhelming sadness presented as a series backdrop, it's just downright funny. Each robot has its own unique personality, even the ones that don't speak. Eventually, Yashio's wish for guests come true when aliens discover how hospitable the hotel is. The culture and language barriers between the robots, created to serve humans, serving these non-human and very alien beings, just generate a bunch of great moments that will have you just crying from laughter. Every episode, I would find myself wishing I could survive humanity's extinction to stay a night in Ginza at the hotel with them. The highs are high, the lows are low, the animation is just wonderful. The direction is on point, and at no point in the anime will you know where the show is truly headed. Some viewers might dislike how juxtaposed the silly hijinks of the side characters, particularly the Tanuki, with the overarching seriousness of the anime itself. However, for me, it just hits that perfect sweet spot that only animated shows can. Little gems like these are part of why I love watching seasonal anime, and I'm sure the hotel in Ginza will stay with me for some time to come. Now, despite Apocalypse Hotel being amazing, Cygames as a studio many don't think of when they think anime. Despite making a bunch of good originals that always look fantastic, and this is probably due to their heavy association with phone gambling games. And I'm late to the party, but I'm into horse racing now. Musume Cinderella Grey is the latest in the Musume franchise. It's already had multiple anime and a movie or two, which I vaguely recall about 3-episode rule dropping years ago, but something about this installment in particular just did it for me. Maybe the production values are just higher and I don't remember. Maybe the staff just really nailed it. Maybe I just need to go back and rewatch the other seasons, which I will. From my understanding, most are standalone, even if they have cameos of supporting characters from the prior seasons, so any is kind of an okay jumping off point. At no point did I feel lost watching Cinderella Grey, like I was missing anything from missing prior seasons. The premise is just silly. It's a world in which horses don't exist, but teenage horse girls who can run 60 miles per hour, and Japanese 60-year-old men lose their family's life savings betting on the teenage horse girls running in circles. Each episode has an intensely animated race sequence. The main girl, Oguri Cap, is a dense, sweet girl you want to root for and bet your family's life savings on. Genuinely, it's turn-off-your-brain fun, and somehow Cygames did what they wanted, and I'm now addicted to the game the animes are funded by, and I scream at my phone desperately tapping for my horse girl to win. All the races in the show are actually based on who won the races in real life, as all the horse girls are based on real-life race horses, right down to their personalities, so you can actually spoil the series for yourself by looking up old races, which really makes the show a journey not the destination take, even though all the races are about the destination. And anyway, if you aren't prone to gambling addiction, this is an anime you can't miss. Unless you are prone to gambling addiction, or phone game addiction, or horse races, or gambling, then stay far away. And, which if you're American, that may get kind of difficult, as Cygames has recently sponsored at the Kentucky Derby, which is a huge American horse race, and I can see a future where maybe they put some of the American horses into their game. The anime ending of Season 1 was just kind of unexpected and was really good, and I eagerly await Season 2. Meg Raspberry lives in a quiet town of Lapis as an apprentice witch to the great eternal witch Faust. A light-hearted and goofy girl, she enjoys her time lazily hanging around Lapis with her friends and animal companions, until she finds out she is cursed to die in a year's time on her 18th birthday. She will rapidly grow old unless she manages to collect 1,000 true tears of joy and consume a seed of life made from them. Once Upon a Witch's Death, or Arumaju ga Shinu Maid, is based on a light novel I've yet to read, but would like to, with the anime planning on apparently adapting all 3 volumes. I read that online somewhere, but I also read that there's no plan, so eh. Each arc revolves around Meg as she goes about her last year on Earth, cheerfully helping those she comes across, and hoping she manages to help enough people to gain the tears of joy needed for her to stop her impending demise. While maybe not the best animation-wise, the series' writing will still have you rubbing away some wet eyes or breathing a sigh of relief, as the town of Lapis stories bloom into fruition. Personally, I definitely didn't try, nope, and not even once. Just ignore all the tissues and the red eyes. Even if you can figure out what's coming next, much like Meg knows her own end is approaching, it doesn't make the impact any less heartfelt. It has some cute and funny moments, but it makes zero effort not to be a tearjerker if it wants to be, and I appreciate how sincere everything felt. Even if there's no season 2, despite the rumors, the ending felt like an okay place to be and was fairly satisfying. These sort of warm-feeling anime where you slowly get to enjoy a town the main characters are in and care about, and really learn to care just as much as the folks who live there, it's not as common as it is, and I wish it were. But luckily, this season really delivered on that front. The year is 1908, and you're watching a turn-of-the-century anime called Books, where everything is subtitled. Sorry, dub guys. The book series is called Anne of Green Gables, and it turns out the book series is just as popular today as it was over 100 years ago. Following the life of red-headed orphan child, Anne Shirley, Anne with an E, the 2025 anime by the same name is a slice-of-life growing-up journey. The story has been adapted multiple times as books, stage plays, movies, television series, other anime, and watching this adaptation, I can see why. Anne and the dynamic she has with her adopted parents, her tragic backstory that's been baked into what makes her entire personality tick, to the town itself just all feels so alive. It's a slice of life in every sense of the word, where you'll find yourself falling in love with Green Gables, the townsfolk, Anne's classmates, her adopted parents, even the cow on the farm, right? Personally, I've yet to read the books, but I had watched a few episodes of the live-action one that came out a couple years back, and I wasn't the biggest fan. I'm not sure what adaptations are closer to the source, however, if you want to watch an adaptation, this or the 1979 version, which I believe Miyazaki worked on, it seems better, to be honest. Even if you aren't interested in 1890s Canada rural living, somehow you will find yourself invested in this period of time and just how things worked and how people lived. The animation is charming, the background's gorgeous, the voice acting is superb, and watching Anne and her classmates as they grow in a very literal sense, I highly recommend giving it a watch, even if this isn't really your cup of tea. What I do not recommend watching is probably the worst anime I've watched to completion in some time. The Gorilla God's Go-To Girl started off as my hopeful otome of the season, a world where all entering high school are granted powers by an animal god. Our clumsy protag Sophia gets blessed by the strongest combat god, the gorilla. Hijinks ensue. While it didn't start well animated or directed, it had some fun moments and the concept was just fun enough for me to get my weekly cute rom-com fix, right? Wrong. Unfortunately, around the halfway mark, they introduced a anti-monarchist faction, because these are all noble kids. Honestly, they did nothing wrong, and the show just starts spiraling from there, where the villains, honestly, it was just very weird. I've also just never seen a show have an entire episode dedicated to showing how much the clear losers for the MC Bowl, who love the MC, just for them to never even stand a chance, like it's an entire episode dedicated to showing you how sad and cucked the side characters are. I didn't even want them to win. I like the main boy. He's clearly the best boy in the show, but man, it's just painful to sit through. The entire show past episode 5 or so, it was just painful. This is the downside sometime of seasonally watching weekly shows. Sometimes a show that starts really fun just goes to poop and you keep hoping it'll get better, but it doesn't. I really wanted to like this despite its flaws, and I should have stopped watching, but a train wreck can sometimes be fun and just end really amazing, and Just not this time. It's not a masterpiece and will not be missed. I'm just mentioning it because I was upset watching it. Luckily, to save the season with something shoujo was Kanpekisugite. I'm 100% sure I'm mispronouncing that name, so let's just go with the English Too Perfect Saint. Tossed aside by my fiance and sold to another kingdom. As the title spoils, it revolves around Saint Philia, who was just too perfect. So her real a-hole parents hatch a scheme with her to-be fiance prince, who's also an a-hole, to sell her off to another kingdom. Now the premise isn't too different from some others in this genre. You have a lovable doofus MC who just wants to do a good job. You have cartoonishly evil parents, an arrogant fiance who hatches evil plans, a world teetering on destruction thanks to devils only the perfect saint can fight. But what sets it apart is the story focus itself. It's like particularly focused on this relationship between the MC Philia and her sister Mia. Philia had this hard life where she was forced to be strong to survive, and no one ever had her back, except for her sister, who in contrast is just loved by everyone, including her parents and all that. But this sister is not okay with Philia being sold off to the neighboring kingdom. So while Sister Mia hatches plans to take down those responsible for Philia being sold off, Philia gets to experience a neighboring kingdom that is run by competent rulers who are ecstatic she is there to help their people survive. Philia learns about love, friendship, and just honestly relaxing, while Mia learns the truth that has always been hidden from her about Philia's treatment, and stages a coup and falls for the sickly older prince that the a-hole fiance had kind of thrown under the bus. I have a soft spot for these sort of stories, and I like just how small tweaks and changes to the character tropes can really make something feel fresh. Now, fresh is not what I usually refer to super Japanese anime like Kijin, Gentosho, Sword of the Demon Hunter, and the series starts with an hour-long movie about the main character's story and how he became a wandering ronin, then follows him over the many years as he searches down and kills demons, yada yada. At first, I thought it would kind of skip this entirely. I don't really find the Japanese period set shows to really be up my alley. However, this ended up being more of a mystery of the week than monster of the week type story. You slowly learn how the demons work while discovering various secrets and unraveling the puzzles plaguing Edo. Edo is Tokyo. It's strange to watch an adaptation of the web novel that inspired Demon Slayer, considering how different the series are, and this felt more like Rurouni Kenshin than typical laser sword shonen. Not that there isn't fighting demons, but overall it just wasn't what I expected going in. Each mini arc is finding the demon causing a problem while skipping decades and even further into the future, only to double back around and fill in the missing pieces from earlier episodes or time periods. As it's still ongoing, I'll continue to watch until it finishes, and I plan on probably reading the novel after. Deep nostalgia, missing persons, a turbulent romance. Kowloon generic romance is anything but generic. Taking place in the fictional city outside Hong Kong, Kowloon 2, which was created in story after the walled city of Kowloon was destroyed, which did happen in real life. The series starts with a cutesy budding romance between co-workers Raiko and Hajime, and then gets weird. There's some sort of snake dude, some fang guy, full-on yaoi, a giant blinking triangle thing in the sky. You journey along with the main girl Raiko, who has an uncertain set of memories as she learns more about her past and the man Hajime who she is currently falling for. The city feels alive and vibrant, a constant state of midsummer heat you can feel dripping down your back while watching. All the while there's this constant unease and dread lingering, like something is just not quite right. If you like the movie The Dark City, this will be for you. If you have zero clue what I mean by that is even better, this is also for you. Based on a manga by the same name, towards the end of the adaptation, it kind of felt a little rushed on some aspects. The ending was certainly odd, and while I'm not entirely sure how I personally feel about it at this point, it was definitely an interesting ride I'll probably be thinking about for some time to come. Shaft did it again. A ninja and an assassin under one roof, directed by Yukihiro Miyamoto, who's directing the upcoming Madoka film and has directed for Monogatari, Arakawa Under the Bridge, Zetsubo Sensei, Nisekoi. The dude's done a lot. Ninja and Assassin is Shaft doing Shaft, and it is a wild ride. As the title entails, it is about a runaway ninja, Satoko, whose only real skill is turning inanimate objects into leaves, who moves in with the deadpan assassin Konoha, who uses the ninja to dispose of the many bodies she lets hit the floor. because once they're dead, they're inanimate, and the ninja can poof them into leaves. The humor is very offbeat, slapstick, and feels like something straight out of the early 2000s, like Bludgeoning Angel, or like the director's other adaptation work, Arakawa Under the Bridge, which is a personal favorite of mine. Somehow it makes murder funny, with multiple random ninja pursuers trying to kill the runaway Satuko, only for the assassin Kanoha to come out of nowhere, followed by a hard cut to the end result of the would-be killer turned to leaves after being murdered. Then double take in the show the friends and the loved ones of the now dead pursuer dealing with the grief, loss, and all that comes with that. Although technically I guess it would be considered self-defense, the assassin kills many more who aren't attacking her, as she is part of an assassin-ranked organization that's basically Uber for murderers. It's one of those anime that makes you remember why you liked anime in the first place, with amazing animation when needed, great cuts, typical Shaft perfection. Oh, and if you're a Yuri fan, it has plenty of that as well. Each episode is more ridiculous than the last, with various ninja powers, super science assassins, yandere syscons, robots, whatever this is, and somehow it still maintains a lot of heart and sincerity. For a Shaft project, I find it wild how there was less discussion and fan art than expected, and I feel confident the next Madoka film is in great hands. This season had no shortcomings in well-animated, beautiful shows. Shin Samurai Den Yaiba was a standout among standouts. Based on a manga from 1988, this is actually the second adaptation the series has had. I've never watched the original, so I can't speak on it, and the story is kind of your basic shonen wild character out of the woods, fights monsters, like the original Dragon Ball kind of, with some good comedic timing mixed in. And look, the real reason you are watching it is just pure eye candy. Every second is blink and you miss it in the best possible way. It's clear from the get-go that the team loves every second of what they are doing. You can pause a scene at any part and you'll find these fun, dynamic drawings and smears and impact frames. Like, just look at some of these scenes. It's manic and beautiful and everywhere, but you can still tell exactly what is going on as it happens, but it's still so crazy to look at. It has this old-style charm to it. Yaiba is just pure soul and the true meme of the word, and if you watch anime for animation, I can't say it enough. You need to go back and watch this if you missed it. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, while not every anime is going to have the heartfelt animation going on that Yabai had, there is something about cute girls forming bands that just works in anime. From K-On! To Bocchi, it's just a working formula, and it's not different here in Rock is a Lady's Modesty. The premise is simple enough. A cute MC Lisa with the biggest twin tails I've ever seen on an anime character, because honestly sometimes they're so large they're distracting, attends a all-girls school for the ultra-wealthy. On the outside, Lisa is the epitome of modesty and feminine charm. A veritable saint her schoolmates worship and have Yuri crushes on, but secretly she is a foul-mouthed, sweaty, guitar-playing punk. She meets Ota, who is the cream of la crop of the all-girls academy, who despite on the outside looking like everything Lisa wishes she were naturally, beautiful, prim, proper, sparkling, she is an exhibitionistic sadist whose life purpose seems to be playing the drums and telling others that they suck. Together they start jamming in secret while gaining new band members. The princely beauty Tina, whose charm woos all the girls, even Lisa, but she is secretly an unbecoming big booba mess of insecurities who talks to her old plussy charm as if she has schizophrenia. She is easily the best girl though and lands on the keyboard. And Lisa's virginity. Tamaki is Oda's oldest friend who rocks at the bass and is a huge, not a nice person, and later a masochist who gets off on Lisa and her Ota's berating her. All the while, the three hide their instrumental playing from their families and school. They wouldn't approve of it, while slowly building towards greatness. The music is good, the characters are charming, and the CGI playing, it kind of grows on you. Allegedly, it was mocap of the band that does the OP, which is kind of interesting, but that also leads to my biggest gripe. The anime premise is about how the girls want to create a all-instrumental band with no lead singer, but both the ED and OP have lyrics. I'm not sure how that was missed by the team, but I mean it's not really a deal breaker or anything, I just thought it was weird. Give it till the main duo start flinging crap at each other sometime in episode 3, and if you like it, it'll be an easy binge. A show that feels straight out of the early 2000s, Teogonia has a certain atmosphere that is captivating from the start. I'm not going to say it's well animated or even amazingly directed, yet the care the staff had for the source really shines through. Based on an ongoing manga and a light novel that's currently on hiatus, you can feel that the author has a very specific direction they plan on taking the story. The world feels fleshed out, and you're thrown into a chaotic wartime situation where humans aren't necessarily top of the food chain. You have 12-foot tall pig people orcs, 10-foot tall yetis, elk humans, hobbits, and humans fall somewhere in the middle. Everyone is fighting over godstones, which are these seed-looking things that all the various fantasy races have that when stolen, as in removed from the body one way or another, give the eater power. The main character Kai has some distant memories of his past life on Earth, but it's not your modern-day isekai where he is that person. It's more reincarnation in the literal sense, where he slowly has flashes of memory from a past life, but overall it isn't that important, or at least not in the context of the anime itself. I found myself very invested in how this world worked, where everyone was eating each other, but no one was necessarily evil. The power levels being related to an organ you could rip out of one another, consume, and gain favor of that being's god, open all sorts of potential plot twists. And more than anything, the way the world looks, from outfits to outposts, all hit this sort of nostalgic feeling for some reason, like I just woke up to a random show on Adult Swim late night block at 2 a.m. in 2007. Only 12 episodes, and the manga isn't translated past the point it ends, but I'm hoping at some point to see or at least be able to read more about the world. Bonus round! There was a whole slew of decent shows that went under the radar, like Mono about cute girls taking cute photos, or Hibiwa Sugito about cute girls eating food, a bunch of random ecchi shows, and of course you have your big hitters like Gundam Duck Sauce, Black Butler, Breaking Wind, 300 Slimes, that one slideshow Musoku Tensei ripoff, but plenty of channels have talked at length about those. My goal in making these is to remember the little shows that should, rather than the big shows that could and did. However, there is one I need to talk about because it's technically not anime. To Be Hero X is technically a Chinese cartoon. Yes, it has a Japanese dub, but it's mostly Chinese made. And I'm starting to feel I should be learning Chinese because the show is beautiful. It mixes animation styles abruptly, but in such a smooth way your brain doesn't even process it as being a problem. The CGI segments are eye candy reminiscent of Arcane, and the actual animation in them doesn't have the same kind of shader rig and animation flaws Japanese CGI productions tend to have where it looks like a bad PS2 game. The story at its onlook seems like a typical Marvel DC superhero type show, blah blah blah, but it ends up being kind of a scathing review of entertainment and parasocial relationships and, social credit, where your fans literally dictate who you are and what you can do on a very personal level. You gain powers by what your followers trust that you can do, and you lose them when they don't. Every 2 to 4 episodes follows the origins of a various hero, from a lucky singer to a K-pop idol scriptwriter to the Power Rangers stage play child actor becoming a real Power Ranger. I don't generally like the superhero tropes, but this is more like Neil Gaiman's American Gods, where the power of group belief matters more than anything, which in a world of internet propaganda and grifters means anything is possible if you get enough people to believe you. Literally fake it till you make it in some cases. And despite the music, the fights, the character designs being top-notch, somehow it's the characters and story arcs that end up the highlight. 100% worth watching, and I am incredibly hyped for Season 2. I'm mostly just putting this at the end because despite it getting a good deal of attention, it is not technically an anime, which means probably a lot skipped over it when it was airing, and it's more than worth a watch. Thank you for sticking around. I'm Tamanon, and I mostly talk about card games related to anime like my love Weecross, but I have been having fun making these seasonal recap videos. If you like this, have a gander at my prior seasonal videos and maybe you'll find something cool to watch you might have overlooked, because each season is so jam-packed, it is impossible not to gloss over a masked masterpiece or 3.